Hello everybody, this is Tazilon and I am in my VK2801 here in Karelia Assault Defense. For Volume 14 of the Lighthouse original series, what would you do? And this is the tutorial series where at various times throughout the battle I will stop the fight and say, okay, you're driving my tank. What would you do? And then after a brief pause I'll tell you what I decided to do and why I decided to do it. So we have 3 artillery apiece and 1 scout apiece. Our team, mostly heavies. We got 2 mediums and 2 TDs as well. Enemy team, a little bit more diverse, better mix of tanks. We're actually really not bad though for defense. We have a lot of heavies. What's key and what works very well when you're on this map playing defense, and you can see where I've already clicked on a square down to the south, is if you go and defend J1 and defend up here along A8 and 9, if you can test possession of the north and south hill, then you will win this map a high percentage of the time. There are times where the enemy may make a successful thrust up the middle, but normally you always have a couple tanks hang out in the middle anyway, and they can deal with anybody trying to penetrate through the center of your position. So as I'm headed down to the southern hill, I'm watching how my team deploys, and it's not looking great. I have a Cromwell coming with me, and that's it. The GW Panther's moving back into the one line, but that doesn't guarantee he's even going to look south. Everybody else is playing to the north side of the map, which is horrible. It's a horrible deployment as far as we're concerned. If the enemy attacks the south and anything more than just small numbers, we're going to get blown away. So I'm going to spot. I'm trying to alert my team that we need more tanks to the south. So far nobody really appears to care. Hopefully as I get my first couple spots they'll realize they need to move some people down here and help us out. Here comes a Cromwell B right away. I take a shot and shoot low. It's the way it's been going all week. Like the last 3 days I just haven't been shooting well. T-34 over in the middle going out to meet our E-25. Still nobody moving this way, and it worries me as like, okay, the Cromwell's going to get here first because he's the fast. Oh man. And right here is one of the problems. The T-37 is allowed to come in over here completely unseen and unopposed, because normally we have tanks in this position that's going to provide flanking support when people try to come around the base of the mountain, and there's nobody there. So this T-37 just really underscores the vulnerability of the position that the Cromwell and I are in. So we're going to dispatch the Cromwell now. Their Cromwell B has taken advantage of our attention on the T-37 to move up on top of the hill. What would you do? We are in an unsustainable position if the enemy attacks with anything more than the Cromwell. We can't continue to have people come around our flank like that and meet an attack from over the top of the hill. We still really don't have anybody moving into position to support us, so we need to retreat. The Cromwell's backing up, I'm backing up. We have to pull back or else we're going to end up dying without having much impact on the overall defense of the flag. I don't like where he pulled back to. I just don't like that position because it's you retreated a little bit, but it still has all the tactical disadvantages that the forward position has, is that you still don't have any support behind you. So I'm pulling back farther than him. I'm going to pull all the way down to this rock in front of me, then turn around and see what I can do. There's a T-43 coming in that would have flanked us if we had stayed up there. So now I'll turn around, I'll get shots at the Cromwell B. I've switched over to heat because it tears Cromwells up. What we don't know right now is there anybody else up on top of the hill? If so, you would think they would be showing themselves shortly. I've been seen, but the 43 doesn't have a shot at me, and the Cromwell B was facing off with our Cromwell, so I didn't have to worry about getting shot. I kill him, and now The Cromwell's gone. We know there's a 43 down here somewhere. We've seen a Hellcat briefly back in this area. I still don't have any support lined up. What would you do? And right now, to me, it's screaming at me that I have a golden opportunity to attack the enemy. And you probably think I'm crazy, but it's true. If anybody had been up on top of the hill, they would have pulled forward to support their Cromwell B. And they didn't. We haven't seen anybody up in here. We know the 43 is over here, but with the 43 being in a forward position, that allows me to make a huge end run all the way to the back of the enemy lines. And that's precisely what I'm going to do. Our team did go up and contest the North Hill, and they're doing very well over on that side. But I need to do something before the enemy realizes how weak we are to the south. And the best way to get them to not realize how weak we are is to attack them, to where I pull their attention back to here instead of how ill-prepared we are to meet and advance over here. So off I go. I'm counting on the fact, you'll see in a second, I'm going to take off. Here we go. I'm pretty confident I can get all the way up into here before the 43 sees me. And then whether I continue to go or not just depends on the 43. I don't think he's going to chase me because I think I'll be by him before he realizes what I'm doing. And I don't think that he's going to figure out that I plan on continuing my push all the way around to the back of his position. So he saw me briefly, I saw him briefly. I'm going to keep going. Our Tiger 1 finally has moved into a position down here to where he can start providing defensive fire over here. The 43 isn't moving at all. He sees me again, but now I can win a race to the 1 spawn. And from there, hopefully I can light up the Artie like the GW Panther that just hit me. Now my goal is to press on and find that Panther Artie before he gets reloaded. I'm pressing my attack on. And there's the Hellcat. There's the Hellcat right back to my left. What would you do? For me, there's no option. I continue my attack. I don't want the Hellcat to hit me because he'll probably kill me in 1 shot. It's going to take me, potentially I can kill the Hellcat in 1 shot, but I know I have Artie down here. I don't know if anybody's reacting to me from the donut or not. I do know if I loiter, the 43 is probably going to get interested in me and smell blood and come for me. The Hellcat has an excellent opportunity to shoot me before I can take him out. So I'm thinking I need to press on. And this begins a run that partially answers the questions I get constantly of why do you play scouts all the time? Why do you have 50,000 battles in this tank? And the next minute of game time that you see is going, if it doesn't explain why I do it, then you'll never understand. I come from a background of high intensity action. I parachute, I take risks, I drive too fast on the interstate. I was in special ops in the Air Force, and I like being in situations where you're like on a OODA loop on steroids, where you constantly have to make decisions and everything going on hangs in the balance on whether you can make good decisions quickly or not. It's a great adrenaline rush, and in the world of tanks, only scout tanks can provide that kind of a experience. Heavies can't come close to do it. They're too slow. Artie doesn't move enough. TDs aren't fast enough. Mediums can partially duplicate it, but they can't exactly replicate the kind of experience I'm about to encounter. And that's the best answer I can give for why do I drive scout tanks? Because of what's about to happen. I'm going to make a rush, continue to drive for the hills. Hopefully I can get out of line of fire. I'm moving the rock behind me and keeping it in position where it's going to block his fire, and I'm going to come around the corner. Hellcat's in hot pursuit. There's the GW Panther who takes another shot at me and miss. I can't afford to stop. Now, check this out. I kill the first Artie as I come over the hill. There's a Stug to my left, a Artie directly in front of me, an Artie back here, a Hellcat here following, intent on closing in on me and finishing me off. What would you do? Right now, I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to drive past that Artie in front of me, the M44. I'm going to be reloaded in time to shoot him as I go by, and if everything goes as planned, he's a one-shot. And I already have in my mind, this Hellcat's following me. The Stug isn't pointed at me, but if I stay up here, he's going to be. I'm going to drive past the Artie, go over the front edge of the donut, and then, because I'm pretty confident the Hellcat is going to follow me, thinking that he's going to be able to snipe me from up here, and when he realizes I've gone down over the edge and he can't see me, he's going to follow me down. I'm already decided that I'm going to wrap around and come back and take out the GW Panther, because all of my opponents are going to be looking for me out in here, and they're going to leave this guy all by himself in the back. He's going to be looking out here, and I'm going to be able to knock him off with ease. So here we go. He's trying to rotate around and get on me. No chance. Dead. Now I head for the lip of the donut, and I'm going to go down. I have to make sure I don't track myself going down the hill, so I slow down a little bit. Losing a second or two slowing down there pays off in the end, because I don't track myself and I end up farther along than if I had hurt my tracks. Now everything is contingent on the fact that the Stug is going to try to get me and the Hellcat comes after me. I have no idea if they have or not, but I'm banking on the fact that he has no idea what I'm about to do, and that he's going to come over into the middle to find me. I just blew up two of his Artie. He wants me. So I have a little trepidation as I go around the hills here. Am I going to find myself face to face with the Hellcat, or did he fall for what I'm doing? And I haven't seen him now. I'm pretty certain I'm going to get away with it. I see the GW Panther. The Hellcat's nowhere to be seen. Now I see him on the front. He completely fell for my trap. The Stug's up there looking for me. This GW Panther has a few seconds to live, and he has no idea I'm about to pop out behind him. Here we go. Bam! Planned, executed to perfection. I had 5 tanks around me for a brief second before I killed that first Artie, and even though I was surrounded by enemy, my tank was in charge of that encounter. That's why I drive scouts. So now I'm going to come up here and try to snipe the Hellcat or snipe the E25, whatever I get a shot at. I pull up and oh, there's the Stug off to the right. I forgot about him. I thought he went down over the hill, and he didn't. He's back there. I have to back up. He's not looking at me, but I don't really want to go over after him. And I don't want to attack him, because if I pull out here to take a shot at the Stug, probably a one-shot kill, potentially 2, both the Hellcat and the E25 are going to be able to shoot into my side, and I'm going to die. So I have to back out and leave the Stug alone for the moment. I could go after him and take him out, but the risks are too high, and I don't want to give up my tank yet. So I'll just fake like I'm going down the hill. And as I come down here, our M12 takes out the Stug, so immediately that lets me come back up on the donut and try to snipe the 2 TDs. I hadn't originally planned on going back up here. I was going to run around the end of the mountain, but as soon as that Stug dies, it's like, guess what? I can go up here and snipe now. And there's the E25 moving away from me. My cannon's devastating in his back if I manage to hit him and not shoot way to the right of him like that, but this shot is a little bit more accurate. Goodbye. 345 points of damage and death. Now I get to shoot at the Hellcat, who is gracious enough to back up and give me a great shot at him. I'm planning on blind firing at the spot, but he lights back up and I throw the shot wide right. It was aimed in, it just threw it to the edge of the circle. Somebody else gets the kill. So for this battle I end up with 1,922 XP, 1,824 damage with 5 kills, 1,516 spotting damage, 6 spots, and a Pascucci medal. It was an ace tanker mission, And it was all predicated on the fact that when we first deployed, we were not strong enough to hold our defense down to the south. Now, it ended up, perhaps we could have, based on the fact the enemy didn't attack there. But based on what we saw on the map, and the fact that T-37 had already exposed the weakness of our flank, the T-43 moving up here, we really didn't have a choice but to retreat. However, no enemy support for their position ever materialized, and after their Cromwell died, I saw a golden opportunity to make an end run around their entire southern flank and end up behind them. We were doing fine up here. If I hadn't attacked, we would have been all defensive down here, and we probably would have lost the battle, because they would have quickly realized we had nobody over there, and they could have just set up and picked us off one by one, as so often happens if you try to play a cap defense on this map. So as I went, I ran into the Hellcat over here. I had already taken splash damage from the GW Panther, and this was the critical decision right here when I saw the Hellcat. If I stop and try to take out the Hellcat, I can come close to end up doing what I would have done. He probably would have killed me. If not, the 43 could have come back and killed me. Instead, I just kept the pedal pressed to the metal, kept going, and as I tore through the enemy ranks, I took 2 of their arties out. I knew the Hellcat was chasing me, and the fact I killed his arty would just make him more determined to hunt me down. So I was pretty confident he would come over the donut after me. So I already knew when I was on the donut, I'm going to swing wide, curl right back around. I'm going to have all kinds of speed advantage. I'm going to be completely cloaked by terrain, and I'm going to come back and take out that last arty, and they're going to have no idea I'm there until I pop out and shoot him, and it worked out perfectly. And then it was a matter of just moving back up on the donut and helping finish off the rest of the tanks. The Stug was up there. I saw him before he could shoot me. And as I went to evade him, our artillery took him out. And that gave me the green light just to go up and help snipe the last 2 tanks to death. When you see a situation unfold to where your team is not set up in an ideal solution deployment, you have a couple options. Number 1 is to stay out on the odd side of the field, the weak side of the field, and go down swinging and hope you hold up the enemy enough time, see enough people to give your team a chance to react. That's a low percentage play. Unless you're playing on a team in a team environment, in which case you wouldn't have a bad deployment to begin with, odds are in a pub battle you're not going to have enough people react in many battles to make a sacrifice like that worthwhile. So your next option is to drop back and join your team. You can do like a skirmishing type retreat, to where you try to slow up the enemy forces, you drop back, pull into your team, and hopefully can shore up your defense to meet the oncoming approach. But I know from experience that trying to defend from around the cap circle usually leads to a loss, because you just don't have enough good positions to be able to fend off a multiple front attack. And so I felt my only option was, I was pretty confident I had the opening to go all the way around, and if I did that, I'm going to pull everybody in this area back to deal with me, and that gave the rest of my team a chance to take over the fight, and that's exactly what they did. While I had 4 or 5 tanks worrying about my 1 tank, my team was able to exploit the numerical advantage that gave them, and we end up turning the potential loss into a 15-7 win. Sometimes you have to be willing to make the daring run for the good of your team, and it won't always work. But if you make your decisions quickly with clarity of thought, and you continue to plan ahead, plan on beyond the next tank, which is what I did. I knew when I went over the donut, I'm already going to wrap around and come back here, because I had an open path to do it. You can end up pulling what you at the time go, wow, how did I ever survive that? Well, you survived it because even though you were in the midst of the enemy, you knew what was going on. You stayed in control of the fight. From Karelia, assault, defense, making an end run that ended up going through their middle and around the other end and back. Happy hunting.